This is basically like a marriage. Life changes, people change, but equity is forever. Do you know the problem with sitting on the fence? You get a spike up, It's a joke my grandfather told me years ago, and it's very applicable to the situation we're going to talk about today. Let's dive into it. So I want to talk to you about the perils of splitting equity 50-50. This is a topic super close to my heart. I launched Trimline as a 50-50 business with partners, and I've now since bought out those partners, but I learned a lot of lessons in that process. I've also seen clients go through issues being a 50-50 equity business. I've also had a handful of friends in business also go through similar challenges. So I've seen firsthand a bunch of situations, and I've also read and heard of others externally where this has been a problem. If you know of Felix Dennis, this book, How to Get Rich, is a fantastic book. If you haven't read it, it's a bit of a laugh. He's quite irreverent. But in this, he recommends not giving 1% of equity to anyone else, and you need to have full control of the business. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm saying that there's other ideas out there about how to split it. So let's explore the perils of a 50-50 equity split. So the challenge here is that when you start a business, people want what is fair. And often what is fair, the default is a 50-50 idea. Problem is, this is basically like a marriage. Life changes, people change, but equity is forever. So you need to think about what the long-term consequences of this initial decision are. And the key challenge is, how do you motivate people but keep things simple and make sure that you're recognizing the value being brought to the table on both ends. Now I'm going to talk you through some of the common pitfalls that I've seen and experienced, and hopefully you can avoid making these same mistakes. So the problem with a 50-50 split of equity. Number one, there's decision-making deadlocks. It slows down execution, and getting consensus amongst both parties is really hard. And speed and execution are key critical factors of a successful small business. The next one is unclear vision. As you grow, the visions can diverge and cause conflict. Again, this is the long time period of equity. When you first start a business, people think, yeah, we're aligned and it'll happen. But as you grow and have to adapt to market conditions, those visions can diverge. Number three is misaligned commitment. And so this builds up over time as well. If someone does 80% of the work, but only gets a 50-50 split of the dividend, resentment can build. And that's from not clearly outlining at the start roles and responsibilities and how all that works. Number four, undefined roles. So again, small business needs efficiency. And if you're both 50-50 equity partners, who does what is often blurry. And maybe you've got key roles that your partner's on, but there's other parts that you both don't want to do, but someone has to cover. Those things can grind the gears over time. And connected to that, especially when I'm helping my clients, often both founders need a really expensive wage for their roles, and that limits the business's profitability and ability to hire because you've got two big salaries at the top of the tree, and in that growth phase, that can get tricky to balance. Number five, unbalanced rewards. So without considering who's bringing more value to the table, it can be a problem. This may be that someone's the rainmaker and actually bringing all of the dollars into the business, and in effect, should be getting more of the dividends potentially. So not having a full clear picture of how that flows through the business. And then number six is exit headaches. If someone wants out, but you don't have the liquidity to buy them out, or there's a situation that pops up, things can get really messy, and you have to consider that. So in conclusion, I want you to begin with the end in mind. When you first start getting into bed with someone in a 50-50 equity split, you need to think about all of the potential ways that you might need to leave and depart. You need to have them in the shareholder agreement and wargame them to make sure it's super clear how things will end if they need to end. And I know it's a weird thing to talk about at the start of a business when everyone's got full of optimism, but it's a necessary evil for sure. 100% it has to happen. And then the other tip is avoid a 50-50 split of equity if you can. I've honestly seen more failures than I have successes in this. You know, a 60-40 gives someone a clear ability to make decisions and do things. Often in, the startup world, there'll be someone with 51% and someone retains 49%, but there's a tiebreaker with decisions that helps people not get stuck. All right, hopefully you got some value and you've learned some lessons. Reach out if any of these hit home, and I'd love to help you map through them because I've seen and dealt with a bunch of it. Cheers.